YouTube so you guys are at the same height instead of being a little bit jagged. There we go. All right, welcome in. I am Carol, the owner and creator of everything at CarolJo's.com, which is an online jewelry and accessory business for women. I knew she didn't put those back in there. I gotta find my cutters. Not those. Okay, got them. All right. So we do different things here on my social media. It isn't about selling jewelry. It is really about a jewelry community. We have 2 tutorials a week, 2 chats a week, and then we fill in the week on TikTok with sales. I only do the chats and the tutorials on YouTube. So tonight is a tutorial. We will have sales throughout the rest of the week that if you're on YouTube and would like to take part in it, you just need to find me on TikTok, which is CarolJo's LLC. So what I would ask is anybody who is on TikTok, can you help me out? Can you guys share out the live and also like the live? When we get, hi Jelva, when we get 10 likes or 10 shares and 10,000 likes, we'll start doing giveaways. And I am going to bring up my backup account so I can see the chat on TikTok while it's pointed down at what we're doing today. So just, it's already on that. So let's see if it's going to tell me I'm live. There it is. All right. So what are we going to be making tonight? I'll show y'all. We have been showing it here throughout the week because Monday we did the kit of this one. This one, I know we were getting so close and I'm like, oh boy, I don't know what else I can talk about to get us there. This is what we're going to be making. This is called the Harvest Glow Keychain. It is a split ring with a chain on it, and then we dangle down beads on it. So what you're going to need is I have 3 different color beads that we're going to use for it. We have yellow. They're a 4mm bicone. We have, and there's a transparent bicone. We have an opaque orange 4mm bicone. And then we have a 6mm red bicone. So they're all 3 bicones. But that's what you're going to need for the beads. Now, the chain or the keychains. We had these up for sale on one of our silicone sales a while back. All it is a keychain with the chain here or a split ring. That's all it is. Very simple. It's all there and I'm like excited that it already has the chain on it. You can use your own split ring and add any chain that you want if you wanted it different lengths than this. You can do whatever you want for that, but that's all it takes is a keychain and some chain. Really, it's a split ring. And the other thing that you're going to need is for each bead that you put on the key ring or keychain that you're doing, you need a head pin. You can use any style of head pin. I think this one is a 40mm size head pin, and it's just a flat one. I don't have the ball ones. I looked earlier. I do not have ball head pins in stock right now. So those are the supplies that you're going to need. What else you are going to need are tools. You will need to cut those flathead pins, flush cutters, to make the dangles for your beads to hang down on either the chain or on the split ring. I use a round nose plier and a chain nose plier. You can use, instead of at one spot, I will tell you while we're going through it, instead of using the round nose plier, you can use a second chain nose plier. Those are the tools you're going to need. That's it for today, for the tools and the supplies. This is what I'm going to call a very simple, for the supply part of it and the tool part of it, okay? Some people doing the dangles and closing them up the way I do is hard for some people, and I understand that. If you want to use the one-step looper, you can. I just don't use the one-step looper in certain situations. This situation is a keychain where you're going to be either having it on a bag of some sort, like your purse or like your laptop bag or that type of thing, or you're going to actually have your keys on it that you're going to be using all the time. So it's going to be having heavy use. And if it has heavy use, the one-step looper does not take and wrap around the piece of wire of the head pin to the post. And so it can open and you could lose the beads. That is just a concern, a risk you take if you do use the one-step looper, and it is totally up to you what you want to do. Some people have a hard time with this because of how I explain it. So I'm going to try to slow down and go step by step and show you how to do these. I do have videos over on YouTube on how to do this in a different, like straight head down, so that you can see how to do it. So if it doesn't make sense looking at it across from me like that, then go to YouTube and look for the it is Earring Dangles, as I believe is the name of it. It is in a playlist, I believe, too. So go in there and then you can watch that and see when you're looking at it as if you're looking down to do it. Okay? So we have a couple of different ways to help you out. So the other thing that we talked about when we showed this on Monday, everybody was like, this would make a really cool earring. And it would. And this is what I keep doing. I keep holding it up with my hair color. This will really, really pop. So after we get done making this, I'll explain how you can change it up to make them into earrings. So what we're doing here is using the basic concept of the dangles, and then you can take it and make it into something your own. But when you guys commented, I will explain how I would change up what we're doing to make them into earrings. So that is what we're going to do today. I'm going to point you down so you can see how I'm working on this. All right. So here we go. Oops. Hold on. TikTok about fell out of the, because of the way I grabbed it, you about fell out of my holder. You would have been falling to the table with a thunk. All right. You guys should see my bead mat. We've got the head pin pile. We have our split ring with the chain. We have red beads. We'll need about 5 or 6 of each of the beads. So I'm just going to take off here and put 6 on my table of each one off of the strands. And it's really quiet in here because we're on both YouTube and on TikTok. We can't do music on YouTube. So it's quiet. All right. Explaining one thing about the tool. If you notice, I have a black ring here on, or a black stripe on my pliers. I'm going to find a thicker marker. Then I might have to go grab it from my other, I don't want to use that one because that one was like, ooh. Let me go grab a thicker one because we're going to be doing this a lot. I want my line to stay. I somehow or another have one of Ryan's big, huge Sharpies in here. This will work. It's a big one. But what I have to do with it, there we go, is that I need to put the line on there right now and let it dry, or else I will have black all over my hand. So I'm just going to use my Sharpie and put that on there. After I use the Sharpie or the round nose, it does wear off. It doesn't get on your, like, it doesn't leave black on there on anything you're doing. It's just so that I can make consistent circles. I also am going to be using just on the right side. This is my right hand. Just on the right side of the line is where I'm going to be doing that at. The reason why I am going to do that is I want a bigger circle because I am putting it here on the ring. And I want these to be able to move, because if you ever put a key on this, you need them to go all the way around. So you need to make sure that all of your beads do have some room to move and that they're not tight. So you can make this on the bigger side of the circles. So on the one side of my chain, I am going to have orange, red, and yellow. So the orange is going to be the closest to the chain and the yellow is going to be on the outside. On the other side of the chain, I'm going to have, once again, orange, red, and yellow. So I'm just going to put these on head pins and know where I'm going to put the beads. And then what I did for the chain, I'm going to move these out of the way so we can see the chain. I have 2 red, 2 yellow, 2 orange, 1 red. So I am going to put these on. So I've got 2 red, and I'm going to set them to the side here. So I'm just doing all of my, putting them on my head pins all at the same time. So I'm not having to like think about it or do it again later. Just trying to, you know, doing the same steps all at the same time. So I've got my 2 orange now. And to make it your own, instead of having a red bead at the bottom, you can change this out using a fall charm. And if you put a fall charm on it, you just need a jump ring and the charm to add to that bottom link of the chain. I'm not putting a charm on mine. I'm just going to put on the red bead. I have 3 extra head pins that I can put away here. Now, what I'm going to do, hi, Lori. Hi, Meg. Sorry, I'm just looking at comments that I'd missed. I'm going to, like I said, be on the outside to the right, so the larger size of my black line. I'm going to do something here to make sure. Yep, he's dry now. So I am going to put that in there on the right side of the line, my right. It's going to probably be your guys' left. I'm going to take and push the end of my head pin 90 degrees away from me. So if you look in here, here's my bead, here's this. This is 90-degree angle. I'm going to reposition, so I'm going to open up my tool and put my tool at a 45-degree angle within that 90-degree angle I just created. That allows you then to bring this around over the top until you hit that bead. Then I'm going to open this up and I'm going to flip this over. So now this is on the top and I can complete my circle. He's a little bit above. There we go. So do you see that circle there? The reason why we're doing the 90 degrees is so that we can form the circle away from the bottom of the bead. Also, when we put that 45 degrees inside of it, it allows us to have a full circle. If we didn't do that, we would have a D instead of an O, because we would go up and then do our circle. So that's what you want. I'm going to lay that down and I'm going to do this same step over and over again on all of them that I'm going to put on my split ring and the chain. So just one at a time, 90 degrees away from you. Lift up that tool and put it 45 degrees in that 90-degree angle that we just made. Bring it around to the bottom till it touches that. Reposition your tool so that that circle is now on the top of your round nose plier and go to, you get to a 90 degree from where you started. What's that, Patty? I'm like, what? I think I'm missing something. So once again, right on the right side of our black line, 90 degrees away, reposition your tool 45 degrees, bring this around, reposition your tool, and make it so that that forms the complete circle. So we've got the circles or the charmed angles created for the 3 on one side of our chain. Now we're going to do the other side of our chain. 90 degrees bend. Position your tool 45 degrees in that angle we just made. Take and bring that around to the top till it hits the bead. Reposition your tool so that the bottom round nose plier part is now on the top. And then finish it off by going so your wire is 90 degrees. So where we're positioning the tool at the bottom of the bead to the top, that's how much wire we're going to wrap around our bead. When we're doing this part here where we go 90 degrees away, reposition, and bring it around, this part is making how large our circle is. So if you're noticing when you go to put these on the split ring that it's a little bit tight, you want to move to a bigger part of your tool. If it's too big, then move down to a little bit smaller. So 90 degrees away, reposition 45, bring that around, reposition your tool, and then go back to your 90 degrees. So we've got all 6 of what we're going to put on our split ring. Now we're going to work on these 7 over here that are going to go on the chain. So 90 degrees, 45 within that angle, and then bring that around. So I literally cannot wire wrap, but this is a form of wire wrapping. This is about it for wire wrapping for me. So 45 or 90 degrees away, 45 degrees in that angle, bring this around with your fingers. And there you are. And I've seen people do this differently. It's whatever works for you. If you have a better technique to get your dangles on, use it. I'm not saying this is the only way to do it. We talked about at the beginning how using the one-step looper, if you want to be okay with it, you sure can. So we got 4 of those 7 done. Hi, Rosie. Once again, we're bringing our 90 degrees away, 45 degree tool position in that angle, bring this around, reposition, and finish out that circle. Same thing again, 90, reposition 45, bring this around, and then you got your loop. And here's our last one. Hey, Geraldine. There we go. That was our last one. All right. Now we're going to start putting it on. Now, if you noticed, I'm trying to see if I can get that. We're still open, and you can see a slight opening there. Well, that's not going to be big enough. What I do is I take my round nose plier, open it up a little bit, put this on my whatever I'm putting it on tonight. It happens to be a split ring. I use my round nose plier to shut that up. Oh, well, hello. That's okay. And the reason why I use my round nose plier to do this is that if you look, I'm going to put this down for a second. The round nose plier end is smaller than the chain nose. So I have more, to me, I have a better ability to get into that angle and get into that small space with that than I do with the chain nose. So that's why I use the round nose. You just grab the end of the wire, the head pin wire, and just bring it around. Whoops, I got it off. And bring it around and keep bringing it around until you hit the bead. I got to put the glasses on to do this. Sorry. This is a spot where it's harder for me to see. So, if you notice, it's like the barber pole. It winds itself down at an angle like a barber pole. You come in with your flash cutters and just cut off this end here. and then throw this away in the garbage. And that is your first bead on there. All right. Now we're starting with the bead that is closest to the chain, and then we're going to work out with those 3 beads. So that's why I put the orange on first. If you would have put the yellow on first, your area, you're going to have to work and make sure that there's things on both sides that you're missing. So that's why I suggest working outwards on both sides. So we're going to open up our loop so that we have enough room to get this onto the split ring, close it up, bring that bead down. Just all you're doing is wrapping around. Take your time on this step. Don't put the wire on the row above. Just stack it like downwards. Do not overlap your wire. Here's one that's a little bit longer, so you might be able to see what I'm talking about. Come on, cut. There we go. All right. I'm going to bring this one here. So you see how they just stack on top of each other? What I mean is that they go one above the other. They don't go on top of each other. They go like this, and then this one would go here. You know, you're going that way, not on each other. Does that make sense, everybody? All right, now we're going to open up our yellow for the one side and put that one on. Okay, thanks, Lori, for saying yes. If it doesn't, you can tell me, no, it doesn't, and I'll figure out a different way to say it. All right, we got that one closed. We got our yellow on, and now we're going to wrap that around. All right, now we're going to cut this off. There we go. We have one side done. So we've got a yellow, a red, and an orange on one side of the chain. Now we're going to put those same beads on the other side of the chain. And I'm going to, once again, start with our orange. And it's going to go near the chain. So there goes our orange. And wrap that around. Whoop. I let go of the tool. There we go. And now we will cut this off. There's the orange on there. And see how he's on the other side of the chain? And that's what we want. Next, we're going to... Got my hand sanitizer. I was like, where is my hand sanitizer? All right, we're going to do the red with the same way, opening it up in the circle, then closing it down with our pliers, and then using the chain nose pliers to just wrap that around. There are some people that can take a head pin and do it with their fingers, that wrapping part. I cannot. I have to use tools to hang on to that. All right, we have, and if you notice, the red is over here on this side with that we don't want it on. Just bring him around and he can go back over there. So you do need to look at where your bead went to so that you're getting everything in the right order if you have a color pattern. All right, now we're doing our last yellow. Oh yeah, pinched my finger. And I'm doing the yellow and I'm wrapping that around. There we go. And now we're going to cut that end off. There we go. And there we have all the ones that we want on our, there. Now we're going to do our chain. But before I do that, I do need to blow my nose. It's allergy season time around here. We've got harvest going on, so we have a lot of dust. So hold on. They say I don't have allergies, but every time they combine around us or plant and get the dust going, it's awful for me. So that's why I was looking for my hand sanitizer. So I can do this before we get going here again. All right. Now we are going to work on our chain. You will see there are 4 links to this chain. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and there's 4. I'll bring that up close so that you can see it. There's 4 links there. We are going to put 1 bead on each side of those links. So here I'm going to put a red on this side and a red on this side. Then I will go to the yellow on the second chain. Third chain will be the oranges. The bottom chain is another red, but we're only going to do 1 on that one. So we're going to open up our link. We're going to get that first link in there, and we're going to put it on the one side, close it up, and we're going to do the wrap around the post. And then cut it off. Okay. We're going to grab our next one. We're going to open that up. We're going to look at the chain and go, okay, we need to be on the other side of the chain. So it's going to go on this side. Close it up, wrap around the post. I keep losing my grip on that. There we go. And then we're going to cut this off. If anybody is new here tonight and watching, and you like what you're seeing, we do tutorials twice a week. I'll show you what we did earlier on our tutorial. We did one earlier today with silicone beads. I'll show you what we did there after we get done with this one. We are going to do the yellow in the second link of the chain on one side. And we also do chat times twice a week. The chats are where you can have any type of discussion about the jewelry making, running a small business, or that type of thing. We just keep it positive and jewelry related. All right, we've got that on. We're going to grab our second yellow that we want to put on that same one. So if you're liking what you see, go ahead and follow if you're on TikTok, and if you are on YouTube, go ahead and follow. Go to the other side than what we just did this, so they're on opposite sides, and add that second yellow, and then close that up, and then wrap that around the post of our head pin. There we go. Also, I always change my lives on TikTok from private to public so that you guys can re-watch all of our chats and our tutorials. So if you saw this and you didn't have the beads tonight, you get them, you can always go over to YouTube and re-watch while you make it. We are now on to our orange bead that we're going to add on the third link of that chain. Wrap this around the post and then cut it off. Same thing with our second orange. We're going to go on the opposite side of what we just did on that link. So here's our link. We need to go in on this side and put that on. Close it up and then do the wrap. Whoop. Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Christy. We have all kinds of tutorials out on YouTube with different things. There are some basic things to learn for making jewelry. to me, I call this the dangle. The dangle is one. Another one is how to do a bead wire to make like bracelets or necklaces with crimp tubes and wire. And then the third thing is how to use stretch cord to make stretchy bracelets. Now we're on our last link of that 4 links, and we are going to add that last red bead, close it up. And when you learn those techniques, you can recreate different things. And one of the things we're going to talk about here in a minute is how we can take what we made tonight and make it into an earring instead of a keychain. And we're going to cut that off. Now, our beads on top here moved around while we're doing that. And I just moved those so they should be where they're at. And that is the keychain. That's it to it. It's very simple. Taking the time to really show you guys how to do this didn't even take a half an hour. So you guys will be able to knock these out really quickly for like gift ideas if you'd like, or you can make them into something that if you're someone that resells, you could do these to sell. I'm going to bring this up for a moment here, everybody, and we are going to talk about how to make these into earrings. So thank you everybody who's just started to follow. This is a community of positivity, I will let you know. And we are here to like learn how to create things. I sell the beads if you want to purchase them to be able to create things with them and that type of stuff. So I want to say welcome in. We are so happy to have new individuals in here that love to create. Well, maybe you can get back into it then there, Gwenny. Okay, so how you can use these, I've got 2 of them here. How can you create the same type of earring? Instead of having a jumper or split ring here that is large, you can use a smaller split ring, like an 8mm split ring, or you can use some of those textured jump rings that we have and use a smaller one, like a 7 to 8mm jump ring. You might not be able to get as much on here, like with these dangles. You might only get 1 or 2 on. Or if you went to a 10mm jump ring, you'll be able to get all of these on. Then, and because these keychains came with the chain on it, if you would take chain, and I'm just going to grab this one because you guys know this is my favorite chain. If you would take 4 links off of this and hang the 4 links from with a smaller jump ring from the textured jump ring that I was just talking about, that will give you the length down to where, if you notice here, there is a jump ring holding this chain on. So that's what I want to explain. So that if you would put only 4 links of the chain on, you're not going to be able to create it as long as this. If you put 5 links on, you could, but you got to make sure that the length of the inside diameter of that chain will fit on the chain and give it movement. Because this earring, if you would make this into an earring, is about movement. It isn't about staying stiff. So that's what I would say, is either put 5 links of chain on a jump ring or put 4 links and use a jump ring to put it onto the jump ring. Yep, I just did. Yep, you're just creating a coil. That is the great word I've never called it that, but yes, you were right, a coil. And then that will allow you to create this part. And it would just be a smaller 10mm like ring instead of the 25mm split ring we have here. And then at the top, you would add whatever you wanted for your earring. You could do a lever back, you could do the fish hook, whatever you wanted to do. You could do a post that has a little hole, or the little hole at the bottom, and have them down. And then, like we've been hanging it up here, it would be like this. Without the bigger ring, it would be a smaller ring. But you see how that pops with dark hair with these colors? And you can change them out to any color that you would want. I was just looking for the harvest fall colors because that's the season we're in. You can change these up and make them into like an evening wear with a black dress and use like a clear bicone, AB bicone on there instead, and just make it clear. You could end up, if you wanted to have it with different fall colors, you could add a green in here. If you wanted it for Halloween, you could do the black and orange, or you could also add in those purples and greens. You could do the purple, green, and white for Beetlejuice, I think it is. I think. I'm not a Halloween like up on all that. My niece is. So that's how you can just change up your colors. You don't have to do 3 colors. You could do 2 colors. You can do 1 color. If you wanted it to be fuller than what I have here, on each link of that chain, add more beads and it becomes fuller. So those are ideas of how you can make it your own. I just like you, if you know me, I am usually like simple, not a lot in there, but there are some people that just love the bling and you can add that to it. The chains that I normally use all use a open unsoldered link so that you can put the chains on there at any link. So do you guys have any questions on how to adjust that and make them into earrings or make it fuller? You can do whatever you want. And then I was going to show you all, once we get to 10K, I want to get us to 10K tonight, okay? Because we were so close this afternoon. We were doing our silicone tutorial. And I'm going to show you guys what I did. Yep, you can do a pendant on here at the end. You can do a charm instead of having the bead. So you can add that on and create different length, and then you can put it here. It's not going to be that big there, but you know what I mean? Or even down here. You can make it on a longer chain or cord and make it, I'm in the comments. There we go. But you can make it down lower, and that would work to make it a longer necklace. So yeah, you can do lots of things with it. And that's what I love about what we do here is that I want to teach you how to do something, but you can make it your own. Thank you, Sally, for the heart me. So earlier today, I want to show you, and then I'm going to show you what I changed. If you watched it, you'll see what I meant by what I changed. So here is what we did as our example for today's tutorial with silicone beads. And this was the dragonfly using 2 15mm round ball or round silicones. Yes, we got there. We did 12. There are 20 12s. We have 3 14mm octagons. We have 26 here of the lentils between the wings and the tail. I'm going to show you this before we do. So what I did is I used deep burgundy, midnight sapphire, the molten caramel, and ice crystal. And we put it together. I looked at it and I was like, it's okay, but I wasn't happy with it. So after the live, I redid it. And I made, because these were all the same here, I didn't add in these 2 colors there or this color here. And I changed up my pattern for the tail part of that dragonfly. I like it so much better changed, in all honesty. But I didn't have enough of the round 12mm of the burgundy, deep burgundy, or else I would have done some and not had all the blue in there. But yeah. So those of you that were on earlier, which one do you like better? This one or the earlier one? You let me know. Because I want your opinions. I was like, when I changed it up, I'm like, I like it better. I would have liked it better if I could have done like burgundy here and then maybe here or something, but I just didn't have enough burgundy. All right, we're going to pick a color. So let's do this. This is a 2-word color, everybody. You like it better. Thank you, Nordic Luna. Hi, sweetheart strings. All right, put the colors in the chat, everybody. Is a 2-word color. And then I'm going to talk to you guys for a couple more minutes here about we're changing something up with what we talked about last night. I can't believe it's October 1st. It's really quiet. And we haven't had Buttercup running in and out because she has been helping Opa. When he stained our deck, he took all the metal bars off of the deck, and he needed to put them back on, and she helped him do that tonight. All right, I'm going to give you a quick clue. It is a Disney character. This color can be a Disney character. Did I stump everybody? There we go. I was like, Sweetheart Strings, you were first. All right. You will get $5 off of your invoice. That is what we're going to do tonight, is $5 off of your invoice. So congratulations. Yay. Yep. Just takes one. I always say that. It just takes one right guess to win. There were others that guessed Snow White. That was a hard one. I was like, I want to do a winter color. So, what I wanted to say is last night we talked about having those containers that we were talking about. So I went to order them last night after we got off the live because it was going to take a month for them to get here. So I'm like, I'm ordering them now. Okay, all the websites that I went to, there were only 2 that offered free shipping. So I went to one and I put it in there, put it in my cart, and it was going to cost a lot to ship it. And I'm like, really? So then I went to the other site that I could buy them from. They were a little bit more, but I thought, hey, if it's free shipping, you know what I mean? Yep, nope, this shipping was about the same. And I'm like, what the heck? So I went back to my very first idea of what I wanted. So what I want to do is, you've seen those big containers with nuts and bolts in them where you can reach your hand in and get stuff out. I want to put my back stock or the new stuff in those so that I can just grab them really quick and that type of thing. So instead of having them in boxes, because if you guys like email me, then what happens is I have to go through a stack of like 3 containers, and then we have we have 2 rows in each container trying to find the right item. This way, if I can have them all there and you guys ask me for something, I can take it out and say, yep, I have it. So I was going to use that type of bin, but I originally wanted clear of these, a little bit longer, but this size type thing. But I couldn't find a shelf that it would work on because I wanted, like, I didn't want to stack these. I wanted them on each shelf so that I could get my hand in there. I found it last night. I ordered 2 of them this morning, and they will be here tomorrow sometime. So, and these shelves I can put in our house because they're not as heavy as those other big, huge containers were. What do I do here? We are a jewelry community. We do tutorials. We did one tonight on making what I call the Harvest Glow keychain. And then we did a tutorial on the dragonfly with silicone beads. So we use regular beads, we use silicone beads, we do lots of different types of beads. We create the tutorials and show you how to do stuff, spark your imagination and creativity to be able to do things. We also have discussion nights twice a week where we can talk about the different things, and if somebody has a question, we can help answer it. We can have a discussion about jewelry making. Last night we talked about my storage of what I'm going to do for my warehouse. So it's a lot of different things. It can be business related or jewelry related. And then throughout the week we have sales where I sell the items that so you guys can create with. Tomorrow at noon, we're going to have a silicone sale. And in that, we're going to bring all the different colors of the 12mm round silicone beads. So we'll bring all of those. I also did find the 1.5mm white. So I am going to look and see what we have for the black and the white and bring those tomorrow or Friday. So we'll start our show tomorrow at noon and go for an hour, hour and a half-ish. And then on Friday, we will do the same thing. I also have some focals that are silicone focals that we are going to be going through too. So we have that for those two sales. And then Friday night, we're going to be selling the beads. We will have strands of all three of the beads that was used in tonight's tutorial up for sale on Friday night. And we'll have other items. We'll have pendants. We have natural stones. We have glass beads. We have acrylics or resin beads. We will have findings. I know I'm going to be bringing a gold ball chain with the closure parts. So we'll have that too on Friday night. So we do chains, we will do the findings, we do the pendants, anything that we can find to make jewelry with. We bring it to Friday night sales. And then Saturday, we will be having a cabochon sale. Cabochons are like here. I'm going to grab one so I can show you. Not everybody knows, so I'll explain it. So we made these into earrings. So the cabochon is the centerpiece here, and then that silver part is a setting. So we will sell the setting and the cabochons on Saturday. We started this last week, and we'll bring back what didn't sell last week to this week's sale, and we'll go through all the items that we didn't get to last week. So it's going to be probably a 3 to 4 hour show on Saturday. Friday nights are usually about 2.5 to 3 hours. Just to let you know, we bring in about 50 items, but with the cabochons, we were almost at 100 last week. So that is what we do here. If you have any other questions about it, please ask. We do our sales a live claim, and we go through how to do them each time we do our lives. So that is what we do here. So if you like what you're seeing, go ahead, follow me on TikTok or subscribe to me on YouTube. Like I said earlier, all of our tutorials and all of our chats are saved over on YouTube so you can watch the replay. Oh, darn it, Sissy. But you're going to have fun on your trip. I'm so excited for you. Yay. But I am going to hop off here. I'm going to go spend a little bit of time with Ryan and Buttercup before we all go to bed. But tomorrow we will only have a show at noon. We will not have one tomorrow night. Buttercup has volleyball, and so we're doing volleyball and family time. And she gets to pick the restaurant we go out to eat at tomorrow night. So that's the fun part of our family time, is everybody gets to select where we're going to eat at. So, and spend a little time together. So we will see you tomorrow at noon Central Time, Friday noon Central Time. Friday night is 7 p.m. Central, and then the cabochon sale on Saturday is at 11 a.m. Central. So that's what we have planned for the rest of the week. The schedule for next week will come out on Sunday. All right, y'all, you have a great rest of your weekend, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye.